exist, obviously, in other games. Not to
Right,
say we're
right.
unique in that sense, but literally the top teams in Heroes and Earth right now consist of some kind of brother combination. So it is
Yeah.
pretty cool. All right, B-Kid did come back, so thankful for that. And we have now loaded into game number 1. So enough rambling on. People want to see action, so do we. I think it's time, Emperor. Are you ready?
I'm ready, Breaky.
Let's do it. We got game number 1. Complexity taking on Trademark Esports. This is the Winners Bracket Finals. Let's take a look. Complexity on the Legion side, tdM the Hellborn side. Again, this is the first time these teams have played since basically mid-December. It's been forever. It's been 2 months at least since these teams have played. Again, it's crazy to think that, but really
Takes me back to DreamHack, man.
yeah, that's
When
true.
complexity during those days, we had people confident enough that they were going to win. That the scalp was on the line, man. So
Yep.
the head of hair, and that's around the time where everything shifted.
Yep, it sure was. No doubt the DreamHack victory is really what turned that momentum on for Trademark. And here we are now in Cycle 6. 4 to the 5 cycles going to tdM's favor. They're going to try to make it 5 now with Cycle 6. So into the locking stage. Blind Band's coming out. Interesting stuff there. Demented Shaman Parasite coming out, and then Wild Soul Ophelia. But Demented Shaman Blind
Well,
Band here.
I've been seeing tdM sort of rocket with those the Balfcore strategies, the Zephyr strategies, and tdM is very good at once again evading those mid-game fights. And later on, if you have that Demented Shaman, it can be really, really difficult to deal with. If they try to burst initiate, you get the cape up. They get the turnaround potential, as you often see with, a lot of times the Balfagor hag or the Zephyr hag combination that tdM likes to run. They really like to secure their late game. So just probably not wanting to deal with any of the cheesiness coming out from the Demented Shaman. Parasite being their bane.
Yeah, well, B-Kid, specifically, he made a very big point of that. He just hates dealing with that quote-unquote cheese factor. Heroes like Parasite, Jeriziah, in this case, Demented Shaman, as you're pointing out, it comes to running that very aggressive push. So taking that option away, but that leaves a lock pool of, we got Keeper of the Forest, Tempest Bubbles, Wretched Hag Rally, and then Deadwood thrown in there as well. So obviously a very strong lock pool. It's kind of interesting. You got a couple of junglers, a couple of suicide options, and a couple of go-to strength mid heroes. So
You always see these rivalries sort of in hero matchups, and okay, there's the Bubbles Wretched Hag rivalry where you see one on either team. There's the Keeper of the Forest Tempest. There's the Pebbles and Fade. Now the newest one we have on the scene is the Rally Deadwood.
Yep. Yeah,
It's
you're right.
pretty funny to see those pairings always, sort of pop up and.
Yeah,
It's
and
funny.
sure. Again, we have those all in the lock pool here, which even is more intriguing. So, again, 2 of those obviously not going to make it through. So, in a sense, you can say it's kind of like a ban. But Engineer, Moon Queen, Fade, Pebbles, Zephyr. So far, the ban's coming out. Waiting on the final one for tdM. It is going to be Draconis. So, anything right away eyeing for you as far as the first pick?
No, as far as first picks go, let me just take a quick. Oh, they didn't even get a chance. The Master was left open, and
Yeah.
not hesitating, probably looking at that Master Keeper combination.
Yep.
I think it's a good idea. It helps a lot against the burst damage when you're looking for those pickoffs with a hero like Deadwood if they're opting to go for it. I've seen tdM run a lot of Deadwood lately, and they run it very effectively as well. Usually Limp is the one playing that.
I will say it seems like Complexity does have more of a history of running Master of Arms in a support role than they do of a carry.
Yeah, but
So
I did see Haxorn run it lately as well, so their
Yeah.
history does dictate that. So
yeah. Oh,
maybe
by
it's-
all means, it's still possible they can run a carry, of course. I wouldn't be surprised. Magnus, the first pick here for tdM. So
Yeah, they draft this. Yeah, there it is.
you sound disappointed.
No, I wasn't really. I was sort of lagged behind a little bit there. Didn't get to call it out, and I would have liked to, be on the spot with it. That's all.
Gotcha. What do we got here for Complexity then?
Okay, well, they're obviously drafting up their support here. Glacius is available. They're not going to grab that. Yeah, probably the Glacius plus. They're going to grab their. They've got the suicide option. They've got the safe lane plus another mid. No, they can go for a suicide. It depends whether they're going to suicide the keeper or jungle it, is obviously what it comes down to.
We'll see what B-Kid decides to go with here. We're running into extra time now for the first time in this game at
They're going
least.
to go for dual lanes, yeah, because they could actually go for it. We've seen them do it a lot if they got a suicide keeper. But a dual lane doesn't really go along with the whole Wretched Hagger Bubbles draft, so they'd have to pick up the Rally or the Deadwood along with the Keeper if they're doing that, in which case they would grab another, pseudo supporter here plus.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. They got their Plague Rider, your Torture, your Glacius, as you're talking about, Silhouette on the board.
Yeah,
So
so that could happen if they run a support master plus another support and dual lane it, but it's not.
it kind of does make it a little more clear as far as how you're going to run the Master Farms if you do go Silhouette.
I've been seeing Silhouettes get, sort of smashed a lot lately against this mid game aggression too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Going with an Amphora, I mean, I do like it. I've said it before. I think Amphora is a very underrated support right now.
Mm-hmm.
She sort of fell off in popularity compared to Luna and Glacius for a period of time. She's definitely getting a lot more attention lately. As long as you have things to set up her beautiful line stun as well, she's an absolute monster. And that volatile pod, I mean, I was thinking about it. I was saying, 2 points in 4-0, I don't like it as much as 3, but when you start leveling up that volatile pod earlier, it's like an AoE Jerizaya heal almost. It has so much turnaround potential, so I can definitely see wanting to get points in that as soon as possible once you feel like you have enough points in your stun.
How about it? This is picking up. I mean, the lock pull maybe not so crazy, but Soul Stealer coming out here from tdM, their final regular pick. Swap to Noob G right there. So yeah, going to be seeing something a little bit different there. Bubbles is going to finish things off here. So Rally and Wretched Hag left over in that lock pool. But the Soul Stealer, what do you make of that, Emperor?
The Soul Stealer, I mean, I think the hero does a lot of damage. I think he's a little bit underpicked. I mean, we've seen SG pick him up here and there. I've seen tdM pick him up in a scrim before. Minus armor synergy coming out with Deadwood a little bit here. If they get him to farm, I mean, he is amazing, and early Shrunken Head does wonders against this Legion team. He will tear it up. I mean, he has so much damage potential. So if they give him the laning that he needs, sure, I like it.
Yeah, it's so again a hero that we do not really see on the competitive scene. When the few times we do see him, I always go back to. It seems like obviously he can tend to be fairly squishy. He doesn't have that getaway mechanism. But in the end, as you said, as long as you lane him appropriately, you give him that farm time, he will be able to take over into that mid-game stage. Yeah. So let's see how they lane it with that set. I mean, all 5 right now are going to be headed towards the top lane, of course. They want to protect any ward spots, but...
I'm looking at the lineup, and I feel like the draft is... I mean, the thing that can hold them back is if Soul Stealer gets smashed in lane and they're forced onto their heels. But I just look at the overall draft, and I feel a lot more comfortable. I would feel a lot more comfortable going into those team fights with what tdM has. I just feel like they have more upfront burst damage, more stun potential, more lockdown. I mean, Legion's lineup isn't bad, but when I just look at the Hellborn lineup, I just feel scary team fight. It just is. I mean, you just look at the lineups, you just get an overall initial vibe, initial reaction. My initial reaction is,
yeah.
That's going to be painful.
It's scary. It's scary. The Soul Stealer aura, too, is something to keep in mind, especially with this Deadwood synergy. And the minus armor potential that can definitely come here from the Hellborn team between those two heroes is actually is pretty significant. Can be. So something else to look at. Look what they're doing. Look what tdM's doing right here, by the way. They got the ground courier all the way out here in their jungle. Using a ground courier to scout things out. Not often we see that, but... it is going to eventually fall back right here. It's actually keeping near the tower. What is going on here?
Where is this?
At the top lane, the secondary tower at top. The Hellborn Courier.
Oh, yeah.
It's a jungle monkey, apparently.
The dreaded jungle monkey. Maybe we're going to see some, next level tactics coming out here.
Something, man. I mean, we did see the keeper dogs coming up here. Did pull the lane back, so as usual with the keeper. He is going to now put it back to base. So maybe that's what he was just worrying about. We wanted to make sure that didn't get picked off by Keeper of the Forge. So.
Okay, right. Do you think it accidentally trickled into the lane with him?
I don't know. I want to say they were using it for scouting because it was right at this ward spot here. So, but that's risky.
I mean, it is a monkey, though.
Yeah. Dangerous monkey. All right. Anyways, no harm. So what do we got? What do we got with the lanes? Soul Stealer is going to be 1 versus 1 Bubbles up here. And again, Soul Stealer not a hero we see too often. He is in a short lane here. Do you think this lane setup is going to work for him?
Yeah, it should. 1v1 versus Bubbles will be fine.
Yeah.
Definitely. He did miss a couple of free CS under the tower, which is going to hold him back a little bit. Soul Stealer does rely on those early creep kills, but if he's having a hard time, a little bit of extra pooled regen, Soul Stealer does just fine. And he'll actually win the matchup.
Yeah. Speaking of pulled regen, Bubbles being played by Moon Meander here. He did get pulled the health potion, as we can see, so getting himself some regen, as we see so often in the competitive scene. How about this bottom lane? And it's interesting. You know, we just saw Q Squad earlier today do it twice against Stay Green, run an aggressive dual lane. And we see that here, Magnus Aluna down here against your Master of Arms Nymphora, it ends up being. What about this decision from tdM?
I mean, whenever I see a keeper jungle, I like the concept of an aggressive dual lane.
Yeah.
Keeper can't do as much. They have to be careful because there is a dual lane setup. But Master Nymphora, it's okay, but it's not the strongest lane. Magnus Aluna, I give it a little bit of an advantage. Just not too much. I mean, they have some nice power on both ends. They got the dual range coming out. But yeah, it's fine. They're able to do that, and they're able to make the rest of the map thrive because of it. So I think it's fine. Yeah. Deadwood's able to get his levels up. I mean, sure.
All right, so we'll see, though, how Zai playing this Magnus, again, getting supported by Fitsuke here, is able to get some farm, maybe get some kill opportunities, but MOA Nymphora, obviously being the dual range concept in general, gives him that edge as well right there. So that does leave a true 1 versus 1 mid matchup. You got Moraxis versus Deadwood. It seems like so far Deadwood's 10-5, Moraxis 5-3. So right now, Limp does have the advantage over B-Kid. Would that be expected for you? Deadwood over the Moraxis?
Yeah, I mean, it's a Deadwood, man. He's got the tree. Most of the time, he's going to come out ahead without some sort of, crazy situation popping up or additional pressure. So he's got the log. It's like free CS every time he wants it.
Yeah. Yeah, hits damn hard. I mean, 99 max damage. And
compare that to Moraxis sitting here.
Yep, a 61.
You look at the hatchet, and that's amplified even more the more damage you have. So got to take that math into account, too.
It's tough.
And the damage while you're holding the log actually also applies to your hatchet.
Yeah, of course. It was up to 99, so.
Yeah,
it could be difficult. So B-Kid doing his best, but yeah, definitely a limp there on Deadwood having the better time. Looking back at the top matchup, SoulStealer, so he's kind of stepped up here. He's currently 12-5 compared to your 5-0 Bubble, so he's having the better time. And of course, SoulStealer, especially in that laning phase, he starts building up that W, the passive, aka the Soul Steal ability. And hence the SoulStealer name. And he becomes even that much harder of a hitter, of course. So it can kind of snowball in that laning phase if you're not careful. So we'll definitely see what kind of an impact Noobg can have. Speaking of SoulStealer, what kind of build do you like to see on him in terms of items? Do you want to see that earlier on Portal Key? As bottom lane, actually, Magnus in a little bit of trouble. He will be fine. Taking a lot of heavy pressure, though. But early Portal Key, or no? You want to see different?
No, I think they have heroes that he can bring down pretty quickly, and that additional nuke presence in combination with the rest of the team, which is very mid-game paced. You got the Deadwood, you got the Magaluna, even the Tempest. As long as you're able to place good nukes, survive, and get a few hits off, decently placed ulti, I think the Shrunken Head is ideal.
Yeah. All right.
Will Noobg go the Ghost Marchers this game?
No, he's not. Holy crap.
He's not? Yeah, I approve.
Wow.
Last time I ranked for them in a scrim, it was months ago. He was playing SoulStealer, and he definitely went the Ghost Marchers build.
Well, he always goes Ghost Marchers. He's
Yeah.
going Steam Boots this game. What is going on?
He's mixing it up a little bit.
Does he?
He goes what he feels is best in the situation. He's still there to win.
Yeah, it seems like we always see Ghost Marches on it. But yeah, no, he's going the Steam Boots this time around. And again, SoulStealer definitely can make sense there. So. But more intrigued by what he follows that up with, of course. Will it be that Shrunken Head, the Portal Key, or maybe even straight into a Firebrand? Something else. We'll see. Boots picked up by Magnus here at the bottom lane. He's managed to get a 14-1 creep start. Compared to Master of Arms, who's 19-9, though. So Haxorn definitely having the better down here. It does seem like the dual range is giving it the advantage to the favor of the Legion side. The kill opportunity is not really getting there for the Aluna Magnus. As Aluna is going to start roaming around a little bit, apparently. It's almost as if they might just be giving up on this dual lane here. Again, it's Suicide Magnus we see, but...
You know why, though? It's because Deadwood has his level 6 here, SoulStealer's going to level 2. So they figure they can make a play. The thing I like more about tdM's lineup is I don't necessarily feel like the later the game goes on, complexity has an advantage. I actually feel like it's that way for tdM, and I feel like tdM has the more proactive lineup. I feel like if you have more of a passive lineup, you should at least feel like you have a stage of the game where you're building up an advantage, and that's going to be your chance. But in a lineup like this, I feel like they have, once again, the proactive lineup. They have the ability to, sort of apply the pressure in the mid game and then take it to late game and win.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm definitely observing that myself. When it comes to team fights and everything, sure, complexity has some solid push. They got that gank potential, as always, with an M4 and then more access on top of that at Bubbles. You do got Master of Arms with that global presence, as always, and definitely his own carry potential, but the team fight does actually seem a little bit stronger on tdM side with that AoE synergy, the Soul Stealer, Tempest, Magnus. I mean, does it really get better than that? So, and then, yeah, as you're saying, they're still their roaming potential, their carry potential themselves. Yeah, it does look like it may be a little bit stronger on tdM side, but obviously it does come down to play as well, so Complexity
of course,
capitalize on that.
Anything can happen here.
Yeah. Moraxis, again, speaking of his farm, it does continue to fairly struggle. I mean, it's not like he's doing awful, but he's only 19-3 compared to a now 38-18 Deadwood here. So
it's actually snowballing quite a bit, and now Fitzky's sitting here with the Deadwood. Moraxis really does have to be careful, because if he's not able to get his what is that ultimate even called? The Matrax off in time. Pretty brutal, man.
I just call it the Matrix. So much easier.
The Matrix.
Matrix.
It's gotta be the Matrax. The entire hero is based on axes.
I know. I hate that W ability, man. That's so trollish. More axes. Or the E, I guess. The more axes for more axes. Oh, top lane. Soulstone in a lot of trouble. The root's going to come out. New G Wolfball right here. Keeper of the Forest porting to the top. I think he ported. Maybe he actually walked up there. I wasn't even paying too much attention to that. Getting sidetracked. But anyways, Noob G gets taken out. And we do see Bubbles obviously going to continue to farm now in the lane. So big start for Complexity right there. Oh, actually, middle lane, though, as I was doing a chat disconnect. Apologize.
He actually did not even... Moraxis was unable to get his ulti off, and he didn't even need the Illuna snipe to make that happen. Damn, did not expect that.
Yeah. So, that's a dead Moraxis. Couldn't get the ultimate. No W from him either. I mean, that could definitely be powerful against a Deadwood if you can time it correctly, so... but not able to do so. So yeah, BK continuing his struggles here in the middle lane. So Bloodlust kill at least, though, coming out in favor of Complexity just before that. And especially on that Soul Stealer, who seemed like he was having a fairly good time. Slowing down a little bit, though.
We saw Fitzky rotate to the top lane now. They have the stack neutral camp, and he's going to keep pulling it over and over again, just to assure that Soul Stealer has some safe farm going in. Complexity definitely did a great job pulling that rotation onto the Soul Stealer. The last thing you want is to see him busting out an early Shrunken Head. I mean, he's already winning the lane. So I like the rotation, but Fitzky, very smart move in switching up here and just assuring that he has lane control.
Speaking of moving around, Magnus actually trying to gun in here with the invis. There is a revelation down. He's going to be stomped right here. Zai will fall. Bubbles ported in initially to the secondary tower. They're going to go for initiation. Kelfo comes out. It does not hit Deadwood. The only established Tab is going to ultimate right there. Keeper of the Force cannot get in range, so it doesn't even have a root just yet. There's no follow-up damage, though. Deadwood's like, what do you want me to do? And Tempest will end up falling. So a solid idea there for my nuts, but unfortunately just not paying off. Did they get the tower? No, it was actually denied on top of that.
No,
so.
I think he was just trying to help the tower kill and buy Deadwood a little bit of time for positioning to get back. I think he knew that they wouldn't get any kills there. It was just more of a posturing move.
Well, Complexity, all 5 end up being here, and they are going to try to pick up momentum in that sense. They're going to now push this middle tower. Keeper the Force corresponding the dogs. We do have a port in now. Keeper does have his root up here. It is Soul Stealer that ports in, actually taking a little bit of damage right off the bat, but he is ready to fight with the rest of the team. Deadwood is currently out of mana, though, so...
Those Cactuars doing work on the Soul Stealer, man.
Holy crap.
Stop!
Those things aren't known for doing a lot of damage, but damn. Took him down a half life right there, so...
Yeah, well, maybe they have a health pod for him or something, because he's...
That did hurt a little bit.
A little bit in the danger zone right now.
Those are early missing investments, by the way.
You can see some neutral stacks come out, maybe,
Oh, yeah. You know, you think farming is snowball heroes. Soul Stealer's definitely up there on the top of the list, at least in my opinion. Those Demon Hands hit level 4, and he just starts taking off.
Those Antler healers, man, they've got to be the most frustrating small camp.
Yep. Yep, he tried right there. You got to attack the healer off the bat if you want to blow successfully, but didn't notice off the bat, and...
He was just trying to go quick. I mean, he only had a couple seconds, and it was more of a last-second attempt. I think even done perfectly, he would have missed it.
Yeah. He was just hoping that it wouldn't be the damn healer. And sure enough, it was. Keeper of the Forest, he's tops in the game in farm, actually. Oh, no, I guess he's up there with his brethren in Deadwood. He's at 345, basically about the same. He did finish the Ring of Sorcery. And you see the little red booties on him as well. So, Riser doing his part in that sense. Yep.
One of the more signature Keeper players, I would say, too.
Oh, of course.
I think of Riser, I actually, think of that Keeper, think of some other tank heroes, so...
Franzi on Nymphora, he's setting up to go somewhere with this TP. Bubbles right next to them, so they want to go somewhere. Oh, it's going to be bottom here. The root coming out of the Magnus. You see the initiation for Master of Arms. Magnus, oh, he barely gets away, though. Can he actually survive? Shelter him. The Kelpio comes out. It's going to force Magnus to just stand there, and they will get the kill. Of course, the Steam Bath and everything else was on cooldown. Nothing more he could have done. So they poured in, they get the kill, and now they're going to push his tower. It ends up working out pretty well for Complexity, it looks like.
Yeah, that was a great pickoff. Man, it's got to be frustrating on your side. It's sort of like, yes, I escaped.
Yeah.
This is awesome. And then
nope.
Down comes the Bubbles ulti.
Yeah. Made that nymphative TP that much more important. And on top of that, Bubbles now just ports back to the top lane as if he wasn't even down there. And he's going to prevent a push happening from tdM, actually.
Such a good hero. Such a good hero, then, Amphora.
Amphora? Yeah. I know you stressed that, and it seems like when she is picked up in good hands, we do see it constantly. So, but yeah, the top push stopped for now. However, Soul Stealer, using those demon hands, keeping the creep wave pushed up. He does pick up the Mighty Blade, by the way. Again, it doesn't 100% mean he's going straight for that Shrunken Head. We do see sometimes he go the Mighty Blade, then maybe a PK or something else even. But it is likely. It is likely this game. So we'll see if that continues. But
yeah, I did reanalyze when I was talking about Nymphoria the previous game. I brought this up a little bit before about the 3 points in stun being just better, and it guarantees the. I went back into practice mode and I was testing out what ranges Nymphoria stun was pretty much guaranteed to hit both ways, and as long as you're outside of 400 range with level 2 stun, it is going to hit on the way out and on the way back in. It's a little bit less lockdown, but it's still about 2 seconds. So
okay.
Yeah, I mean, leveling the volatile pot is a little bit of less damage, but you do get the turnaround potential, and it guarantees also level 2 stun. It guarantees that you get to place the volatile pod and have it hit as well. So I understand the 2-point build a little bit more now, and I did reassess my opinion, and I approve, sure.
Okay, cool. No, it's good to go through the effort even checking that out. So Franzi, that's you're pointing that out here that he has the 2 points in his Zeal, as well as Grace of the Nymph, and now that one into Pod that we were talking about the previous series. So how is Moraxis recovering? V-Kid here, he is up to about 240 gold per minute now, so obviously some tower kills helping, but definitely recovering as nearly another 1,000 gold saved up. Got those Steam Boots bottle. Definitely could use that Portakey, though, especially with an Nymphoria teammate to start setting up some ganks all over the place. So we'll like that ASAP. Master of Arms falling all the way back to base. He got low from, I'm guessing, just doing some neutral creeps right there, but falling back to base regen. Top lane, holy crap. Trademark Esports. Here comes the 5-man push.
Yeah, like Nymphoria gank this.
Yeah.
It's,
use your Nymph TP now. Yeah, they're not going to... I don't think we're gonna see resistance here. I mean, the goo comes out, but complexity. Okay, and vulnerability used. Maybe they want to at least try something here. Go for the deny. Maybe it's gonna be close. Oh, it is gonna be denied by Moon Meander, and wow, that's got to be frustrating for tdM right there. 5-man push denied by 2 heroes.
Yeah, just by 2 heroes. Excellently played by Moon, though.
Yeah.
He's having a pretty hot game so far. He's moving around the map a lot. Did decently enough in lane, but he's been a part of a lot of kills so far. All 4 for the Legion side.
Yep. Deadwood did have his portal key there, but again, if anything, maybe they figured more resistance was actually there than just the 2, and they didn't want to risk anything. So
yeah, risk going too far, getting countered on by a keeper. Yeah, the Moraxis follow-up. I mean, going against a keeper Moraxis, man, they can totally shut down your team if you dive.
Oh, yeah. They can completely turn things around, so... But yeah, nonetheless, the portal key is on Deadwood, to reiterate that. So, obviously, limp, and I assume he's getting closer to that level 11 mark. Something I would like to see added, by the way, for a spectator feature. But probably going to be level 11 here in the near future, and we'll really start training with that, going around using that portal key, getting that Falcon Punch off. Energizer just picked up by Master of Arms, so nothing too odd there. Going more of a signature build. Portal key in the works for Moon Meander, I'm guessing. He has about 1,800 gold saved up on Bubbles. Same thing for Moraxis, about 1,600. No doubt, those are big key items there. Once those portal keys come out, perhaps expect Complexity to start getting a little bit more aggressive even now. Once those do happen. So, as far as the other side though, for Trademark Esports, look at Tempest. He's going to again. Minus especially does this. He stays away from that portal key route more than any Tempest player. It seems like loves to go more of the team build. He goes Plated Greaves off the bat. And actually has picked up a Bracer, the Ring of Sorcery, so very likely an Astrolabe now to follow. So just keeping the idea of the team into play. Oh, here comes the top lane, jumping to Bubbles right here. Can he get away? It's not going to see. No, the power throw even coming out, securing the kill onto Moon Meander.
Yeah, it's...
oh, look at the Master's Call. It was used on Keeper.
I know. It's rough. That's might be... I feel as if even with the Master's Call, he was still going to drop.
It would have been real.
Because of the red power throw?
Yeah.
I feel that. It's 280 damage. Master's Call is... Well, what does it make it? 200? 200 at level. I think it's 200 at
Is it
level 1,
200?
but it works with your magic resistance and armor, so it's
Yeah,
more
yeah.
like 200 raw HP.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been close.
Ooh, bottom lane, Moraxis gets TP'd in. He's invis, so no portal key, but they're going to still
Dun,
try to
dun,
set up
dun.
something on Magnus right here. Zai's in trouble. Oh, it goes for Steam Path, but it's actually going to not work. And he will fall. Little did he know Moraxis was sitting right on top of him. Zai's having a tough game, man.
Yeah, not often you see Zai skirting at 130 GPM. Still 600 gold saved up. He was getting close to upgrade boots if that's what he wanted, but Complexity's doing a great job of keeping him shut down. He's just not having that growth he wants, and he even had the dual lane to start off the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very true. It's not like he was a true suicide by any means. Master of Arms going to get jumped at the bottom lane. Yep, you got to start watching out for that if you're the Legion team. Haxorn pushing up a little far right there, and it ends up costing him his life as a result. So good pick from Limp specifically on that Deadwood. Middle lane going to be pushed in now by Complexity. Moraxis does have his portal key. Bubbles, he's with his tower kill, will very likely have it. And, invulnerability coming out, though. We're going to see some defense. Deny. Oh, it's so close. He actually will shell surf out. In the meantime, jump on a Moraxis by Magnus, actually. Now Magnus getting caught on, though. In comes the Roofer, giving the Force. The Quake's on top of that. Nim 4 with the follow-up. Gets a kill. Here comes Soul Stealer, though. The Soul Burst going off with his new portal key present. He takes out Moraxis. Keeper the Force just going to sit invis, and it ends up being a 1-for-1 exchange right there. Chase is still on, actually, but the offensive Master's call onto Franzi. And that was the correct decision, because that definitely helped get him away.
Oh, yeah.
He stays alive, so.
I was saying the Shrunken Head Rod on Noobji, he got that portal key really quickly, put it to use right there, was directly responsible for the kill on Moraxis, so great job coming out. Overall, an even exchange. The thing I was about to say, I'm kind of sad we're not going to get to see this game, but it's always fun, is when you see the Master of Arms plus Soul Reaper combination, and he pretty much gets that instant Soul Burst off. Sadly, we don't
Soul
get to see
Stealer.
it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Soul
Stealer.
Reaper.
Oh, Soul Reaper, yeah. No, Soul Stealer for sure.
Gotcha.
Um,
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
we don't get to see it, unfortunately, but it's okay.
They're on opposite teams. Doesn't work that way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you said it.
does it?
Going. Hey. Not only he goes a portal key though, but actually Tempest does follow up. He actually chooses not to even finish the Astrolabe here.
Something's weird.
Yeah. That's
maybe they
different.
figure off, Moraxis jumping in. They don't have a ton of burst. They're going to be committing pretty hard to those kills if they want to kill anything, because once again, they don't have a ton of burst. Moraxis, yeah, his shield is great, but if they're committing that hard to a kill, that'll use up their stun cooldowns. Buy window for this Tempest to come in, maybe catch Keeper plus 1 or 2 in an ulti.
Middle lane here, Deadwood. Oh, Limp. The spider senses were tingling. He starts walking back. He runs the perfect direction right there to not get jumped by the Nymphora TP. They were ready to initiate. Moraxis was even there, but Limp again. He just something wasn't feeling right. He falls back, and that proves to pay off big time to save his life even. So, good job by him having that presence of mind.
Look at him sneaking up here on this. Taking the long road, blinking across, cutting down those trees, and he's setting up for this kill right here.
All right, we're gonna see the action in time. This is going to happen. Rotten Grass maybe first to try to go for it. No, Master of Arms just a little bit too far back. Keeper of the Force is now nearby too, so this would be even more risky.
The thing is, Magnus and Tempest kind of ruined the...
the surprise factor.
So now he's got him. He's like, oh, I'm safe.
Yeah, the Ward of Sight spotted them, you're right.
Yeah.
Yep, but he's still kind of pushing up, though. Okay, there is a double damage on Deadwood. He could definitely still get this kill. Here we go. Rotten Grass coming out. Here's that jump. Master of Farms, he's going to be bursted down right here. Yes, power throw not even necessary as they finally flies in.
Red power throw did come out for the insurance, but let me just put that into perspective there, man. That was a 1,400 life Master of Arms.
With Mystic Vest, well, I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and decent armor, 8.5 armor. Mystic Vestments, it matters a tiny bit, from the root and not much else. But double damage, sure. Still, man, even without the double damage, with that red power throw, that would have been enough.
Yeah, that's true. Deadwood hits hard. Breaking news here. Breaking news of you saw. Yeah, that was pretty ridiculous how fast he could get bursted down. You're right. He actually does have a hefty amount of life. A little surprised at that even, but again, with the Mighty Blade, makes sense. So
saying if that was a Pebbles and not a Deadwood, came out there and Master Arms sitting at 1,400 life plus vestments, he probably would have walked away just fine.
Oh yeah, especially with the vestments, definitely.
Yeah.
Top lane, Master of Arms gets ported in by Nymphora, actually. And this is more of a let's group and push port, though, because you got Bubbles, Moraxis, and Keeper the Force on nearby. Keeper now has his portal key, by the way. Holy crap, both teams have 3 portal keys this game. We got a lot of jump factor coming out here, so. Top tower is going to fall easily, though, for Complexity. So even despite that pick on a Master of Arts at the bottom, his farm is still 312 gold per minute, not shabby. And we're 21.5 minutes in. Complexity does have an overall gold lead of 2,600, so. This is a very back-and-forth game right now. Again, not surprised necessarily, but this is a very close game here, 21.5 minutes in.
It is. The Shrunken Head is going to be a huge pickup for Soul Stealer as long as they get the initiation. Zai, I mean, I think it comes down to it. They sort of need Magnus to have a little bit more right now, right? Yeah. It's a 900 gold, red boots. He's just not able to get much done in these fights, and I think that makes it a lot easier for Complexity to have the confidence they need going into each of these pushes.
Tempest currently farming the Legion jungle, but he does have a TP on him, so if there happens to be some initiation up here, he'll be ready to react in that sense.
So, and he does finish the Astrolabe now.
Yep,
making just that bracer.
Obviously was bound to finish it, so red power throw coming through, trying to help stop this push a little bit. It definitely will accomplish that. So a little bit more damage. There's a wrong grasp though, and down go the creeps. So
yeah, that is a loud, annoying long-range anti-push between the root and the and the throw.
Complexity says they've had enough. They tried to maybe also pick off Tempest down here, but he's just a little bit too far now. He'll be fine too. So instead they fall back and need to make sure to fall back as a team because actually they almost did kind of get caught out there. Deadwood's jumping in, but they will be fine. So almost worked out bad for Complexity. But they get away, not the biggest deal in the world. So
yeah. I'm sorry, I was just going back. I never really thought Deadwood is a great anti-push hero, but really that root locking the creeps in place for a few seconds, reducing the armor, and doing 300 damage from a super safe range, I mean, that is awesome.
Oh, yeah. Deadwood's huge for creep clean, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
The wrong grasp is big for that, so. Just that, the power throw. Obviously, Soul Stealer with Demon Hands. I mean, you got plenty of creep clearing potential here on the Hellborn side. Top lane, Keeper the Forest, again, getting a little bit risky here. There is a Revelation nearby. Nymphora TPing in, actually. They're going to go for Magnus. Zai's alive, continues to be difficult, man. Oh. He is going to be jumped right here. There goes the Quake Stun. The Matrix going to come out. The Zeal Sun on top, and boom goes the Dynamite. So down he goes. Now can Complexity actually get out of here? Deadwood is running. The Rotten Grasp attempt not going to hit. He still has Portal Key. Obviously, they don't really have vision of the Legion team spreading out. Nature's Veil being applied around. More access well poured out. The other two, it looks like they are going to be safe. So mission successful there.
Yeah, kind of close there. We saw Deadwood and Soul Stealer nearby, and whose ward is that actually? Okay, Franzi did have a ward sort of scouting out the situation, so he had a rough idea, of where everyone was, and the timing was pretty critical there.
Yeah. Again, you said it. I mean, they really need that more farm on Magnus, but 4 or 5 deaths now. He's only farming 116 gold per minute. He can't get anything going here. He does have 1,100 gold, and actually 1,000 gold saved up, so he's starting to pool up something.
At this point, I think he knows it's beyond the point where he wants to get a boot upgrade because then he'll never have his portal key, and they're sort of relying on a really strong team fight, counter initiate going on there, and they could use the setup stun. So he's just going straight for the portal key, and I agree with that route. That is what they need.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's going to necessarily be level 11 at a prime time, but still, even having that portal key for the Lava Surge is big.
Well, yeah, it is a lot for the Lava Surge because it sets up a perfect Rotten Grasp. It sets up, you'll have a Shrunken Head Soul Stealer with a portal key as well, just getting beautiful ultimates off.
Yeah. Approaching 25 minutes in now. The story, in a sense, tends to be the same. We have a 3,200 gold lead for Complexity, but a 2,300 experience lead for Trademark Esports.
Do you see that bottom lane? He won't even go up to the creeps right now. That's how scary he is. He's near his tower and he's afraid to go hit creeps.
Yeah, I mean, can you blame him, man? There's an M4 over here, especially all the PKs. So
that's the Nymphora effect, though. I mean, that's great. I'm watching. That's 5 CS that he had to give up just because he's afraid to go up and melee hit it. And they're nowhere near there right now. Actually, I mean, he's okay to do it. It's just such a nice ultimate.
It would be free farm, but yeah, you're right. It's definitely the Nymphora effect. And speaking of Nymphora, it has that bound eye purchase now, so. Has that to work with as far as counter warding. Haven't seen her TP in a little bit here. Again, not to say that they need to force the issue by any means, but it's just something to keep in mind. And obviously, though, with Trademark, they are playing according to that, too. So Shrunken Heads now being purchased all over the place, it seems like. And actually, okay, no, I thought I was clicking on Keeper. I'm like, Keeper's going Shrunken? That doesn't make sense. Okay, Soul Stealer is going Shrunken, of course, and that is going to be finishing up here soon. Deadwood also, yeah. He's going to be picking up his.
Tempest, Deadwood, Soul Stealer. There's 3 major initiators there, all lining up.
Yeah, it's like, let's go Portal Keys, let's go Shrunken Heads. They're all doing the same spiel.
Master looks like he's on that board. There's the Shrunken Head and Soul Stealer finish that we've been stressing. That's a very important pickup for Soul Stealer. So much of his magic damage coming out from magic, so he doesn't really need those strong steroid DPS items early on. A Shrunken Head just suits him perfectly.
Especially with his team makeup. I mean, Soul Stealer's, you know, he's definitely a leader for a AoE synergy. You got him, and like I said, him, Tempest, and Magnus is the holy trio here. Holy trinity, I guess, but yeah, so having the Shrunken Head will be big for him, helping a lot of circumstances. You talked about Master of Arms also, and I think, yeah, he just finished his. So, a lot of trends in this game of both teams going very similar items, honestly. Moraxis has a B start, so going trying to finish his now a Helm of the Black Legion here for him.
Yeah,
bulkier.
Yeah, game pacing slowed down a little bit now, but it's been pretty aggressive, I'd say. There's been a fair number of ganks running down. The kill score doesn't look that high, but I feel like we've had enough action.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's, you know, let's be honest, complexity, and especially at these top tier, when you have these top teams going at it, it does tend to be a little bit more of the passive play that does come out of it. But yeah, for this matchup, I think this actually is a decent amount of action that we've been having for sure. So middle push coming out from complexity. You got an illusion Moraxis there in the front lines, kind of maybe bait something up. But by now, it's probably pretty obvious. It is just that. So going to be taken out. Rotten Grasp comes out, of course, and that'll probably stall the push up. Maybe not, actually. They're going to keep this going. Shaman's Headdress on Keeper, so he's working on the barrier idol. Doesn't have it just yet.
Jeez. The support Aluna sitting at higher GPM and experience than the
Magnus.
Magnus. That was the Aluna supporting the Magnus.
This gold is literally all coming from countdown, from the seconds. That's all he's kidding. He ain't getting many creep kills, unfortunately. So it's this is definitely a case of complexity. They're just waiting for a moment maybe to get a pick. If not, just pushing the tower here. It's obviously dwindling down a little bit, so maybe one more push here. In comes the Cacti, the double Demon Hand, though, and just like that, they're gone. The tower, though, is starting to fall, and vulnerability coming out. Moraxis, he's sitting there. He wants to jump in. There he goes. Gets Tempest. Only Tempest. Cell Matrix going to be exploding here in the near future, I'm sure. There's the Soul Burst. Oh, it's canceled by the root initially. It will finally go out. Bubbles into no man's land. He will show surf out, though. Matrix tanking here for Moraxis. Finally exploding right there. Nobody dead just yet. Falcon punch into Moraxis. Will he get away? Oh, no, he will not. He's just on that Tempest. Ultimate coming out. Tempest gets free reign right here. There's a great lava surge on top of that. We see it killing the Bubbles. Uninformed. Basically everyone but Keeper of the Forest, who will get away, but a hat trick coming out for Limp there to finish things off, and clearly Trademark Esports winning that fight.
Jeez, Zai MVP of that fight, man. You saw right there, as soon as Tempest was... That is the teamwork. That is exactly why this Tempest is building tanky went on like that, because they went in for the Tempest, and had they not had the perfect teamwork there, they probably could have dropped him, but Zai followed up, got the double stun onto the Moraxis plus the Bubbles right away, bought time for Tempest to tablet himself back, and that was enough of a window for Deadwood to come in. The Soul Stealer Soul Burst coming out, creating chaos, and that was all they needed.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that was also just too forced by complexity. I mean, they're pushing a secondary tower. They're clearly going to get the tower killed. Unless you have an absolute certain opportunity, then you really should fall back right there. I mean, obviously in B-Kid's mind, they thought that they did. He only got Tempest, though. If he also stunned Magnus, maybe that would have been a different story. But he only got the Tempest. Magnus, as he said, MVP Zai there, no doubt. Able to help his teammate right away, and we saw the
yeah, I mean, that was quick, and that was a beautiful stun, and Bubbles pretty much got stunned instantly as he portal keyed in.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if Bubbles portal keyed into a slightly different location, Zai wouldn't have been able to get the angle to get that double stun off. Maybe we would have seen a different fight. Hard to say. All I know is that they did a great job. It sort of a little bit of a failed initiation attempt there by Complexity.
Yep. It's all about capitalizing, though, and that's exactly what Trademark Esports did right there. And just like that now, again, the gold is nearly identical, actually, still even after that fight. Obviously gone a little bit more in favor of tdM, as it was looking good for Complexity, but the experience jumping up to about 8,200 here, so
Yeah,
overall.
it does feel kind of sketchy when you look back on it. It's like, they really risked pretty much hinging the entire game
Mm.
on killing that Tempest right there.
Yep.
And now there's a snowball effect. You see the token on Soul Stealer. You see all the farm increasing. Tempest nearing his shrunken head. It was sort of all in, and I feel like I don't know if you necessarily want to put your entire game on maybe killing a tanked up Tempest with a low burst team.
Oh, Moraxis in a lot of trouble down here. He's going to be jumped by nearly everything. He gets the Matrix off, but it just doesn't matter. Soul Stealer Soul Burst doing plenty of damage there, and then obviously the rest follow up. So it's going to be a hero kill. It's going to be a tower kill. You're right. I mean, the stats, the team stats difference may not be explaining the whole story here. The fact that this is a very strong mid-game team here on the Hellboy side. That token to life, of course, is always a huge deal on Soul Stealer. So Complexity really putting themselves in a tough spot now. And again, just also well played by Trademark Esports. And of course, they are going to continue to push now. Moraxis dead for another 20 seconds here. They'll very likely get the secondary tower, as their top secondary does get pushed in. So good job by Riser there, trying to keep up the presence at least, and some annoyance if anything. But bottom tower is going to fall, and tdM will even further the lead now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame them.
That was close.
Trying to get the pick off there on the bubbles.
Yeah.
I don't blame them for trying to make something happen. Maybe they didn't want the game to drag on too late against this Hellborn team. But at the same time, you got to feel like it would have been a much safer initiation if they were able to provide things like a Hellflower. Bubbles was working on it. Maybe they just needed to go straight for Hellflowers or something in this game to try to, press their window when they had a time to push. And right now, it just looks very, very scary.
Yeah. It does. It definitely does. Master of Farms, he has another 3,000 gold saved up, so interested to see what route Haxerin decides to go here as far as his build. Will it be that Geometer's Bane? Maybe that Thunderclaw route, as we've seen before, do work? Who knows? Who knows what he will decide to go.
I wouldn't expect him to get the Thunderclaw this game. He might go the Geo's route, but...
Yeah.
Or straight damage in a breaker.
Nymph 4 going to TP out right here with the ultimate, actually, as Deadwood was chasing, so a little bit safe right there. And it's pulling up 3,500 gold now, so he's sitting in the wall currently. Is Haxerin, but not purchasing anything just yet.
He's there for a while. Shield
there
okay,
we
he's
go.
waiting for. I'm not sure what he was waiting for.
Yeah, I think it was ultimately just deciding, honestly.
Yeah, for
Maybe
sure.
he
They were
just wasn't sure
talking about
himself,
Yep.
So, getting that level 1 shield breaker. Definitely some good old raw damage right there going to be coming out from him.
Yeah. Thunderclaw, they have the shrunken heads. And
middle lane, Deadwood, Invis setting up. Oh, the Falcon Punch on the Master of Farms. He will shortcut it in time, barely staying alive. Killfield coming out. Holy crap, he's going to live. And here comes a turnaround chance. The Goose plays down. Deadwood now in a horrible zone. Now Tempest ultimate completely whiffing. The Eruption doing very little. Bubbles does get jumped, though. They will get killed, him at least. Despite some big misplays there from tdM, they're still going to dominate the fight, it looks like. Oh my God! How do you misplay so much and still win like you do? That's just crazy.
We talked about the initiation means everything because say hey they didn't kill Master but they put him at 50 HP. He's basically taken out of the fight. He has to walk back. He doesn't want to die. So when you initiate and you have the sustained damage output that they do on Hellborn, it's not like you initiate with Legion then you're sort of like, well, we don't have any more follow-up damage, sustained damage. I mean, even after they miss their spells, they will put out a ton of damage, and the fact is they're just that far ahead and their team is that much better at this point.
Yeah, it's it really was looking like a turnaround point for Complexity right there. But again, Trademark Esports just as a team having that token of life, obviously, I'm sure just really played a threat too. And yeah, you're right. Despite them not killing Master of Arms, the fact that he was sitting on a slither of life is basically might as well be dead. So Phil had to fall back, and in the end, they do lose a tower. So of course the racks are staying alive, and as long as they have the racks, there's definitely a fighting chance, of course. But it just even got a little bit grimmer there. The lead will start to grow. Soul Stealer's token of life is running out here. It's done a minute and a half, so it might not have. They might not necessarily take full advantage of it in that sense. But Savage Mace actually just finished on Soul Stealer, by the way, too. As I'm speaking about him, so.
Went all in, just to have something to push uphill with, really, because they're ready to close out the game. You actually don't usually see that on Soul Stealers. You'd expect to see something like a Geometer's next. You sometimes see Genjuro, other damage items, even Shield Breaker sometimes. But he's going for the Savage.
Yep. Wants that uphill attack, true strike even. for pushing into the base, which could help, of course. So Deadwood was roaming around right there. Speaking of Deadwood, he's got that Soul's Bulwark now, and he's been continuing to do very well for his team. He can play a bit limp. He's 5-0-4 actually. The only one, no, him and Fitzke. Fitzke actually playing the support of Luna hasn't died either in this game. He's 2-0-5, so it's pretty solid right there for him. Happening to stay alive. Keeper of the Forest, he's had that barrier out now finished for a while. He is also level 16. So, of course, he brings his 4-second root in now, as well as a little bit less of a cooldown. On top of that, Moraxis, 1,700 gold. You talk about the Hellflower possibilities here would be huge for Complexity, but at this rate, it's just not going to be coming soon enough, it seems like. As tdM, as they should, just keeping up the pressure. Again, the Token of Life has worn off by now. But even without it, they got plenty of push and team presence here, so not too worried. At the very least, just going to take out the outer tower. We'll see if they actually push into the base here.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to see some Soul Stealer this game, man. I think it's an underpicked hero. I think when you're running a lot of those weaker suicides, like Bubbles, it gives you a window to run a hero like Soul Stealer that can really, you know, as long as he's not super shut.
Oh man, Moon Meander just got collapsed on, big time right there. Ouch, that's gotta hurt.
That was very bold and very commanding by tdM.
Well, the funny thing was, Deadwood, I'm pretty sure, had the kill by himself, but the Soul Stealer and Tempest also blinked in just to make it that much more threatening. So they're going to continue this push, of course. Bubbles is dead. He ain't buying back. He's down for another 30 seconds. Master of Arms could finish the level 3 shield breaker, but he's just going to save the money of ult for now. Morax is going to jump in. Here comes Soul Stealer, though. The Soul Burst going off right there. Shurikens were applied, though, so mitigating a little bit of the damage. Morax is willing to falling there. Tempest ultimate locking down the solo Master of Arms. Great counter by Riser, though. It will kill Tempest. The hat trick coming up for Haxer in here. Holy crap. This is actually a really good hold all of a sudden for Complexity. They're going to chase now. Oh, the portal key from Psy. He will be able to port out, it looks like, and so will Luna. But how about that? Complexity holding strong right there. Master of Arms dealing out plenty of damage. Great root timing as well from Riser.
Yeah, great root timing, great counter initiation, and I think tdM was pressing a little bit too much. I mean, the token was coming up soon. They do have a huge advantage. They could wait for that token. Soul Stealer was also at about half HP when Moraxis initiated on the two teammates. I believe it was
I honestly blank. I think it was Deadwood and Tempest, maybe, but I'm not
maybe
sure.
so. I think they bursted him down. I think it was Deadwood Tempest. I think you're right. Either way, you know, Soul Stealer was only half life. He blinked in. The Master of Arms going with that shield breaker route. Obviously, doesn't care about a shrunken head. Tore him up really fast, and that was all she wrote.
Now you see Complexity here. They're counter pushing. 5x are available specifically on Tempest. He's down for another 20 seconds. He doesn't have an ultimate though, so that could be the difference maker. Deadwood's, excuse me, they're going to come in with the wrong grasp. Barrier will use Eruption being channeled. Magnus will stun him, but he only gets creeps. And again, the Barrier also being up. Look at Bubbles just standing his ground, but he will portal key back. So they're not going to get the tower, but in the end, they apply plenty of counter pressure. And yeah, I mean, it seemed like tdM was getting to a point of starting to snowball here, but Complexity, they slow things down. A great hold at their base. And just like that, they're definitely back in the game. Now, sure, tdM still has their advantages in both gold and experience, and still are very, very scary, of course. But right now, especially the Tempest ultimate being down is a pretty big deal here in Complexity. We'll see if they can capitalize. It's actually sticking around right here. Uh-oh. Deadwood, yes, Deadwood's going to be jumping right here. Coming out. The Soul Stealer coming in there with the Soul Burst again. Shurikens going off, though. Tempest out jumping in. Deadwood will fall right there. And the Hellborn team realizing, great root from Riser. Hits all 4. Soul Stealer's going to try to port out. He will not be successful, though. And Complexity Gaming making a pretty solid comeback right here. Magma's going to portal key away. And it looks like he will be enough to survive by now. Tempest, Tempest a portal key just in time before the stun. And he will survive, too. But Complexity, they're really taking it to tdM now all of a sudden.
Yeah. Tempest ulti's still down for 40 seconds. He's one of the heroes alive. Soul Stealer has no buyback. Deadwood, no buyback. I think this is going to be a Rax.
Yeah, no Tempest ultimate, no Magnus ultimate. Again, the no buybacks. This is all setting up to easily be Rax here for Complexity. tdM would be silly to try to resist this, honestly. So, easily, how about that? Complexity not only counter pushing, saving themselves at their base, but they counter push all the way to taking out Rax themselves
and they're going
first.
Top.
They're going to go top. Soul Stealer still dead at 30. Deadwood down for 20 about.
No Magnus ulti either.
Yeah.
They can just. Is this going to be double Rax break? Yeah.
It's not going to be double Rax. They're going to get the tower. They'll probably fall back. Tempest ultimate is coming up right here. This could be good timing for tdM if Complexity overstays their welcome. So we'll see. The last thing you want to do if you're Complexity is completely throw all this away. Yeah, they're going to fall back, and I think that is the very correct decision.
Well, right now, they know that Deadwood and Soul Stealer had no buyback. They're literally on the threshold of one team fight loss and say goodbye to your base.
Hmm.
That you've got to say. I mean, Complexity showing excellent composure. Even with the bubbles dead, you saw tdM get so confident, and they had a time. I mean, they saw the Soul Stealer low, great positioning in that team fight, and they were able to just turn the entire game around in a matter of 2 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. But again, would you expect anything less with the Complexity versus Trademark Esports Classic matchup? Like I said, they haven't played in over 2 months. It seems like, or no, it doesn't. That is fact. They haven't played in really about 2 months. But this is why this rivalry was just so loved and so liked to watch. And here we are yet again, kind of a different chapter in a sense, but still the same story of a great matchup here. You do see Conqueror being attempted by the Hellborn team, but tdM, actually Complexity going to jump in. Moomianer jumps up with the Kelfield. Oh, he used the Falcon Punch on the illusion right there. Limp just ultimated the Morax's illusion right there. Tempest actually Portuguese before he gets jumped on. Pretty good reaction coming out from him. Both teams playing a little bit of back and forth here. Neither one fully going in just yet, and 4 getting picked a little bit, but tdM is going to secure the area. Oh man, this game is just getting so tense.
Bubbles ulti now down as well. Meanwhile, you do see the Deadwood punch as used on the illusion.
Yeah.
I thought for a second there tdM was about to turn it. I felt like they sort of had the advantage chasing him down, but both teams playing it safe and gonna pull a reset.
Mm-hmm. Congress still plenty of life, about 8,300 and counting. Again, he regens fairly quickly here. So he'll be just fine. So Complexity, those Hellflowers, it's very possibly going to be coming now here for the Legion team. That's the big item that I was stressing, you were stressing. Restoration Stone on Keeper, that's also going to be coming up here, it looks like. Savage Mace on Master of Arms, so he can definitely hit hard. I mean, this is a scary hero with farm, as we've seen in the past. So things are definitely starting to add up here for the Legion team.
Pity you can't actually apply that Barrier Idol or the Astrolabe twice after refreshing it. How broken would that be?
That'd be silly. But, yeah, obviously having the double root, though, and especially with the Tempest on the other team is absolutely huge for that.
Oh, yeah.
Post-haste was picked up by Tempest by that. I think he's had that for a little bit, but he chooses to go the post-haste route here. They got a couple of tablet of commands. I don't know. Again, maybe this is a hindsight thing now, but you did bring it up. How Soulstone, this might not be the typical route of going to Savage Mace here at this point. Do you think it maybe is kind of biting him in the ass here?
He could have gotten any item he wanted. It wasn't the item pickup, and they wanted for the push, and they got the tower. It was them staying while Soul Stealer at half-life. It was grouping up, going for that tower. It was hubris, man. They were a victim of hubris in their positioning. They're like, oh, we got this game. Bubbles is dead. They played lazy, and that's not... tdM is known for their refined play, a really safe, calculated approach to pushing, and we didn't see that. They might have been laughing, having a good time, and all of a sudden, I guarantee you, there is trust going down right now.
Yep. Like, wait a second. This game is back to being a very close game all of a sudden. Master of Arms leading the way. Again, he has the Savage Mace finish. He is hitting very hard. Even in red form, he's hitting for plenty. Oh, Deadwood wants to initiate. He is going to initiate. Master of Arms going to be caught right here. He's taking plenty of damage. So a great counter from Moraxis. Perfect timing on the stun. Magnus will fall as well. And Complexity gets a 2-for-0 exchange right there. No buybacks once again. Great fork lightning right there. Can they chase them down? No, they can't. They're going to finish off this tower, though. And I wouldn't be surprised. Conqueror, maybe? Are they going to go into the base?
This could be game, man. They have no buyback. I don't know what Complexity knows if they have the research done, but they're looking like they're pushing up into the base here. Master has that Savage Mace. They have to kill him if they want to save this push, or at least, okay.
They're going to force tdM to make a play here. Now, they do have Soul Stealer and Tempest both with ultimates. Well, that ultimately being, there would need to be a damn good synergy between the two. So.
Right, and they're positioning pretty nice right now. Keeper is sitting back. He does still have the root.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Keeper root wasn't even used.
I don't know. I kind of feel like Complexity, though, they could have seemed like they could have done a Congo right here.
Right, and it's not had to deal with it later on, just and been safe. Yeah, they just.
They're not gonna. That's an in between right there. They didn't push the base, yet they didn't kill Congo. So.
Looking back, I agree, Breaky. I thought they could do a little bit more, but maybe they just weren't feeling entirely confident. I mean, they don't necessarily know who has buyback and who doesn't. tdM is sort of notorious for making you push into their base, doing those buybacks, turning the fight around and going for the counter push. And in a case like this, they don't want to risk it, and probably was a safe move to go for the Conqueror.
Yeah, Complexity, they were banking on tdM having buybacks, and they were really trying to bait that out. It's clear there, but TDM didn't, and so in the end that works out actually a little bit better for TDM. But the story, I mean, it still stands that both Deadwood and Magmas got picked off right there, and the gold advantage does get it even a little bit further now in favor of Complexity back in their side of 4,800 gold here. So Hellflower, of course, on Bubbles, even use that right there. Get that Restoration Stone. It's got to be coming up here very shortly now for Keeper of the Forest. You have another 3,000 gold on Meraxis, and then you have this Master of Arms, who definitely has at least one more inventory slot for a big item, if not two, really. So we'll see where he goes next, but he's got options, of course.
Yeah, it's always interesting to think about like all the little things that are going through players' heads, and it's not just like it's like you see a base push, but it's not just a base push. I mean, there's a million thoughts running across their heads, like, oh, should we go in? If we go in right now, is the Nemec's going to buy back? I mean, there's so many sort of mental battles going on and decisions you have to make, which is why you see these turnarounds happen.
Mm-hmm. We do see some possible initiation in the middle lane. There we go. Deadwood jumps in. Master of Arms going to be bursting down right here. Oh, but a reaction code over the Leaves Energizer going to be used. Not enough, though. Down goes Master of Arms. Now Meraxis on the run. Master of Arms bought back, by the way. He is already pointing back in. He's ready to go. Bubbles jumps in with a Song of the Sea. Will Shell Surf away. But, of course, TDM realizes that MOA bought back. And, honestly, not a whole lot used there by Trademark either. So they get the quick kill, and they fall back as a team. That was interesting.
Yeah, well, I thought for a second they'd be able to counter-initiate if TDM lingered a little bit longer. Master bought back, but no secondary to middle. He had to walk all the way there.
Yeah.
Wasn't able to get there in time, and Keeper didn't want to risk going in and blowing his root. There were no shrunken heads up to dispel it, but just not worth it in his book.
They're going to counter ward around Kongor. Clearly, though, this will throw a red flag to TDM that Kongor could possibly be attempted right now. They do have a Luna who is going to use the power throw right here, at least in the vicinity. Didn't actually hit Kongor, but we're just kind of scouting things out. Obviously, Complexity not really going for it. If anything, they're trying to bait TDM right here to maybe come in, and that's kind of what they're doing. Meraxis, he's in the front lines. He's ready to jump. But look at TDM, man. Look at that positioning. They also know something isn't right, and they're going to kind of conclave around themselves, and we're not going to see an initiation as a result. So just a very good heads up once again. Coming out right there.
I liked TDM's approach, going all in onto that Master, using their Shrunken Heads to secure the extra damage. It's kind of what they need to do, because the only sustained damage they really have coming out for their team is that Master. If Master is forced to run away or is unable to stand his ground in a fight with an early Shrunken Head and good positioning, they will win the fight.
God, how much is a freaking Restoration Stone? I feel like he should be able to pick it up. 5,200 minus the 1,575. So, anyways, we do have initiation right here. Meraxis going on a Tempest. Hellflower's applied. Deadwood with the counter on a Master of Arms. So the Shrunken Head is up, though. Trying to stay alive at this meantime. He's on the run. The offensive Master's call. The Great Luna's down there. Tempest ultimate. The Root's going to come out, though, but Master of Arms already dead. So a lot of damage done here by Trademark Esports. It looks like Tempest may fall. No, he Astrolabe and then tap it away. He'll be fine for now. Dodging the axe right there. Meraxis gets stunned in. We do see Keeper of the Forest not trying to run away. Master of Arms not buying back because he can't. And now Complexity will need to be on the run. Master of Arms, he's very likely going to fall right here. Yes, he gets collapsed on. And 4 actually TPing out his teammate right there. So they end up getting 2 kills for nothing. Does Trademark Esports. And this could open up a Kongor attempt for themselves now if they get some quick regen. We'll see.
Yeah, Trademark looking very strong. And they've been opening these fights by Master of Arms sort of being a little bit out of position. They're able to jump on him, and then he can't do anything. He really needs to be careful because he is the lifeline here for Complexity. If he drops, they will lose every single fight.
You know what that one item speaks out now? I mean, pretty obvious to me, Storm Spirit.
Yeah,
get a Storm Spirit here on the Legion side. And
Storm Spirits, tablets, maybe a green triangle to help him survive. It just depends, He does need to survive, though. I mean, his team depends on it.
Yeah, I think getting a Storm Spirit now on Bubble specifically would be a pretty solid pickup here. So. This is what I was talking about, though. Kongor's open. Master of Arms, he is going to be resurrecting here shortly. Meraxis can buy back. They do have Nymphora that it does have a level 2 ultimate, but are they going to maybe go? Oh, her ultimate's actually on cooldown. So even if
you know what else would have solved the problem of the Master dying, getting jumped on, and them going all in is a token.
Yep.
That would have solved the problem of the last 2 team fights pretty much directly. So I think we can go back and look at that and say, yeah. Complexity had a pretty big window, and by not getting that token, sort of a little bit of a counter throw. That's
I said it from the beginning. I did think they should have gone for Kongor. And
you were very adamant about it, yeah.
But they chose not to, and it kind of got in between. And again, they got the pickoffs, but it's more. It really is that's what makes pickoffs like that so great is what you do after the fact. Do you force a buyback? Do you push into their base? Do you go for Congur?
Yeah,
Any of those
jumping all in, trying to kill the Master, barely killing him after using all of their shrunken heads. And then he comes back up a few seconds later, the Keeper Root gets thrown down, the counter initiate. I mean, it would be a whole different story.
Yeah, it would be. But here we are now, the Token of Life on a Soul Stealer. He has to have plenty of gold. Yes, he does. 5,100 gold pooled up here on Noob G. So, of course, buybacks, but especially when you have Token of Life. In fact, there you go. He right-clicks a Geometer's Bane. So he has that now on the way. Another item that you're going to have to deal with here if you're on the Legion side. I do want to stress, though, complexity. Again, having that Nymphora in situations like this, especially in games like this, where it is so close and it's coming down to those old base pushes and whatnot, Nymphora will play a very, very big role with that ultimate. So always something that, again, tdM will have to keep in mind.
Yeah. And
also the middle racks being dead. I mean, you can't forget about that. That is also a big deal in Complexity's favor that they have going for them. So.
Yeah, good thing they all buybacks right now. Not necessarily the gold for it, but something Nymphora can be really dangerous off is you fend off a base push. The enemy team doesn't have buyback when they're pushing into your base, and then you just port to the other side of the map right after and take out their, their set of their tower, their racks. And with both sides being low, it is very vulnerable to that kind of attack.
Yeah. Well, into more of the passive game now. We go back to once again here between Complexity and tdM. Just going to farm up a bit, get that buyback gold all around. Maybe get that next tier of item. Master of Arms, of course, he is down the one buyback here. And actually, B-Kid bought back earlier on, too. I don't even know if we recognize it. I think that was when their base was getting pushed in at the top lane where they turned it around, actually.
Maybe.
Anyways, ooh, a Shrunken Head purchased by Bubbles. See, again, I can see where he's going with that, but I really feel like a Storm Spirit here, man. It seems pretty obvious. Master of Arms continues to be the target of choice. And
It does, but maybe they're just going for, hey, we want the initiation. With the initiation, Blink Hellflower Shrunken is very strong. Maybe they just don't want to be on their heels having to react to a potential jump and save it. They want to be more the ones creating the fight, setting the pace. And in a case like that, I could see it.
True.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's their objective, I guess.
Why the hell is Tempest, have a lightning around him?
Ooh, look at the Nullstone, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think it's supposed to look like that, though. It actually... Huh, and it was like lightning stuff. Anyways, what were we saying?
Oh, no, I was going to say that Nullstone pickup is actually going to be really...
Oh, holy crap, he has a Nullstone, yeah. I'm such an idiot. I'm sitting here, no, I knew he had a Nullstone, but I was contemplating the animation. I was like, I'm not used to that animation. Oh, well. But yeah, oh, by the way, he has a Nullstone, so...
Yeah, no, that Nullstone pickup is going to be huge. I mean, in countering the Hellflower especially.
That's big, yeah, very big here for Tempest, so... Gonna push this bottom lane as a team. Obviously, this is also a point in the game where you see just a lot of grouping up and pushing together. And that's exactly what we got here. Deadwood, oh, nope. I was seeing if maybe he had a Demonic Breastplate finish just yet, but no, he's still sitting on the Soul's Bore. He actually bottles up a double damage rune now.
Yeah, devastating.
He's probably gonna give that to Soul Stealer. Or may want to eventually.
Soul Stealer doesn't actually have space for that.
Yeah, he doesn't.
I mean, he hits pretty hard himself. I think he's happy holding on to it.
Well, again, both teams grouping up, though, doing their own side pushing here. Master of Arms in the way. Master of Arms, by the way, going to Soul's Bulwark here. Interesting. Going to Souls himself.
So, pushing that minus armor really, really hard. Positive right now, but... Oh, maybe
I kind of wonder if he's going to keep it positive.
Yeah, just to try to survive the jump, yeah.
Exactly, because Deadwood, Soulster, I mean, those are guys now, Soulster's ultimate is magic, but Deadwood especially is a lot of physical damage. So yeah, I could definitely see where he's coming from there. Who's going to be the first one to fall back, though, is the big question now. We already do see Tempest falling back, so...
I would say Legion's probably going to back down a little bit more, but you know what? They already have the hole in the base. I mean, I guess it's going to have to be tdM. They already have the hole in the top tower's low. I mean, it pretty much actually has to be tdM if they choose to back down.
Tempest is here, but he does have post-haste, so he could join his team if need be. Double damage on Soul Stealer, by the way, so he did end up giving it to Soul Stealer, and they are going to start breaking in, and actually Complexity is going to be the one to start falling back. Port's coming in. Remember, Token of Life on Soul Stealer and Vulnerability coming out. The goo is placed down. No jump just yet. Tempest, again, he has post-haste, so he can join his team even though he's at the top lane currently. And I'm very certain Complexity is aware of that too, so it's not like they're thinking 5 versus 4, let's go. by any means. So
yeah, and they did get the top tower just by pushing it all the way up.
Yeah,
so.
how about that?
I can see it. I can see that move happening. Why it was a good idea. They're hungry for this, though. They know they have that double damage soul steal. They did pass it to him in the end. Just letting him...
Oh, Magnus stunning in. Master Bombs once again. That target is going to be tapping forward. Gets that shotgun off the Energizer. He is falling back right here. Soul Stealer sitting his ground. Tempest jumps in. He's going to get rid of though. There's Tempest. Oh, it's going to be canceled. His ultimate though. A great root again by Keeper the Force. He had that restoration. So Master Bombs picked up in the background as Soul Stealer gets that kill. Magnus jumps in with the eruption, but Soul Stealer coming right back up. Of course, he's going to Soul Burst right there. It's just him and Magnus though. Magnus will fall. Noob G's in trouble. Noob G is going to fall, and Complexity holds off the fight. Master of Arms, he did end up buying back, by the way, so he has no more buybacks, but a genocide for Complexity. And remember, they have Nymphora. They're going to go.
Yeah, and she has level 3 port. No, but didn't they? Yeah, they're going.
Of course, yeah, they're going to go to the top lane here. Only ported 2 people, actually.
Yeah, she could have taken 1 extra,
Okay.
but they just...
Oops, that's a mistake.
Yeah.
Bubbles did buy post haste though, as did Keeper the Force actually, so it doesn't matter in the end.
Yeah, no, that explains it.
They're going to go right for the rack. So what is our buyback? Several have already bought back, as you can see. Deadwood buys back as well, so here we go. Will tdM catch them in a trap right here? No ultimates are going to be on. Master of Arms holding his ground with that Shrunken Head. In comes a Falcon Punch though. Master of Arms Energizer. No, he will fall in the end. Soul Stealer still well alive. Tempest does end up falling. Now Deadwood's chasing, but he's realizing quickly this is a bad spot to be in. Magnus jumps in. Soul Stealer going back in. He doesn't have max souls, remember, and Soul Stealer will fall right there. Master of Arms is still dead, but Complexity, it doesn't matter. They don't give 2 shits. They are going to continue to chase. Magnus falls back, and I think this could do it, actually. If they get a second set of racks here, this could very likely be the game.
They can't stop this. They can't stop this. This is happening.
Magnus comes in. I mean, yeah, what more do they have? They're going to try to resist this as much as possible, but it's just not going to matter. Aluna's now on the run. She will fall. No more buybacks coming out from tdM. They're going to be down 2 sets of racks now.
Yeah, we talked about that base defense. It paid off huge. And you know what? It made sense for Complexity. They were sort of fighting a little bit of an uphill battle there. And with an M4 port being able to just warp right back up to the top lane, yeah, they made a great decision. And that is game.
It has to be. I mean, obviously tdM not conceding just yet by any means, but
no, but that is game.
It's going to be. I mean, this bottom tower is going to fall right here. It's already at half life. There's no invulnerability. Melee Rax is going to go down. Deadwood's like, rotten grass, come on, delay as much as possible. We're going to see mega creeps here, and you ain't coming back from mega creeps, honestly. So
Complexity, man.
Spawn. Yeah, how about that? GG well plays. Complexity Gaming will take game number 1 against Trademark Esports, and I'll tell you, I mean, that was a well-played game on both sides. It really was. That was an entertaining game. But Complexity, the better team in game number 1, hands down.
Yeah, they proved me wrong. I sort of wrote it off like they were going to get dropped, but yeah, they had the team that they could put out the damage if they need to. They had a brilliant defense, and geez, I did not expect that. I still feel like tdM got way too confident in that game.
Yeah.
If they took the small steps, the boring route, so to speak, for us spectators sometimes, I think they would have been sitting in a much better spot. Token was coming back up. Refresher Orb was on Tempest if he wanted, or that Nullstone. They could have just paced it out a little bit better, but Complexity, man, they saw that opening, and I'm really impressed.
You know, something that also has continued to be a trend there for Trademark Esports. They were using a lot of resources off the bat in team fights to just try to burst down that Master of Arms ASAP.
Yeah.
It worked out most of the time. In fact, even every time, I think. But as the game progressed, clearly it became more of an issue of the supporting cast for Complexity, that they were dealing more and more damage to themselves, and they were still able to drop the Hellborn team despite Master of Arms getting picked off right away. So I really think the supporting cast around Haxton especially, I mean, Complexity as a team just looks so good there, and deserving of the Game 1 victory. So, but Emperor, that was just Game 1. You got a best of the 3, man.
Yeah, I mean, tdM, they've got to be frustrated after that, man. I'm sure they're going to be coming hard in Game 2, so I'd like to see this one.
Yeah, game number 2. Speaking of that, stay tuned, guys. We have a second game coming up here in HoNcast between Complexity and Trademark. coL up 1-0. Will we see game 3, or will coL sweep the series even? Hey, if they play that way, maybe. We'll see. Stay tuned, though, guys. Game 2 coming up next.